I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast. It's your host, D Dot, coming at y'all. And today's guest is an artist by the name of King Shampz, based out of Philly, who I got a chance to check out some of his music, which he's going to stop by to talk about, which is also the Rise of the Corleone and Beginnings Heat from SoundCloud. I also got a chance to check out the video for West Philly 187. Really dope music. Gives me some type of like late 90s, early 2000s hip hop vibe. So we're going to get into some of that and more. If this is your first time tuning into the Major Music Lounge, I like to talk to music creators. And as far as music creators, I like to talk to music producers and artists, music producers that are sound designers, music production app developers, and also if you have any type of placements, whether that's in film and television, or it could be with a major artist. We want to hear about your journey. And then both when it comes to artists as well as producers, I like to also speak to any type of like content creators because, it's really about highlighting some of the things that you do as an independent creator of music. So you could hit me up on one of my social platforms at D._major music. That's going to be on Instagram if you use Threads as well as TikTok. And then you could also hit me up on Twitter at D.mme. Now let's go ahead and get into the interview. Like to welcome everybody to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast. It's your boy D Dot along with King Shampz out of Philly. What's good, my brother?
Oh man, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm good to be on, man. I'm glad to be on for real, man.
Oh
Glad we
no,
can make it happen.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I appreciate you first and foremost reaching out to me and we got a chance to make it happen and got a chance also to listen to a lot of your tracks and your music video as well for 187 Philly. So we're gonna get into a lot of that, but definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. For our viewers, for our listeners, tell us a little bit about, who is King Shampz? How long have you been creating music? And
Mm.
who are some of your influences as a creator? Because I know, with Philly, of course you got Freeway, you got Meek, and I know that's just, some of the many artists that come out of Philly. So, tell us a little bit about your upbringing or, your come up as far as a music creator.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. First and foremost, those are great questions to start the interview off. So I really appreciate you being detailed at what you're doing first and foremost. And yeah, a little bit about myself, man. I'm from West Philly. I'm a talented artist. Me and my brother Azan, who's produced all of my work since the beginning. We have our own label, Dear Wrong Records, Dear Wrong Entertainment. We've been doing it for some years, and we starting to finally gain traction with the new sound that we've been creating with projects like Dawn of the Dead, with projects like Rise of Corleone that just dropped, Murder Files, and then today we dropped a piece of art for the people. And that John is really doing numbers as well for the first day, the beginnings. So yeah, man, we've been doing it for a while. Some of my music influences are definitely the legends. You know what I mean? Your Nas, your J's, your Bigs, your Pox, your Wu Tang Clans, Mob
Yeah.
Deeps, 8 Ball, MJG, Scarface, Cash Money, anybody that was dope during a certain part of time, you know what I mean, that we was listening to when we was growing up. Hey man, that's the influences for sure. And then Philly Beanie Siegel for me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Beanie
Yeah.
Siegel just spit that. He just gave you that energy. Like if you was living outside and you was, doing certain things and moving around certain places, he definitely provided a soundtrack. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, man. I pride myself in my lyricism. I pride myself in my versatility and the way I can control the mic and the way I can control words. I look at myself almost like a lyrical samurai in that way, where once I lock in on that shit, it's game time for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you say some of the people that, especially Beanie Siegel for one, because when I listen to a lot of your music, I get that whole like late 90s, 2000 era East Coast hip hop type of vibe, just from your flow, from the production. It just it seems real, like it almost takes me back to that point in time, just listening to a lot of your records, and you've been at work with, I know, like the beginnings heat from SoundCloud, for example. That's
Yeah.
how far ago was that?
Oh man, that could easily be about 6 or 7 years ago. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Easily 6 or 7 years ago. And that's when we was really fine tuning our sound. You know what I mean? We were finally getting a chance to really fine tune our sound. And it just was a continuous process. You know how it is when you're creating, man. You know, you're trying to find that one thing that actually can not only get people to really fuck with what you're doing, but you're satisfied with you putting that product out as well. So it's a fine balance. So, um, yeah, about say like 6, 7 years, man, we've been grinding, putting that work in. And now, with the newer work, that's like our sound now. You know what I mean? Where it's definitely got that kind of production where it's like, hey, listen, you won't get bars, you won't get lit production, you want to get incredible hooks, song structure, you're going to get everything that you need. You know what I'm saying? But those were like the humble beginnings right there, where it's like, yo, we just putting this shit together. We mad raw. We got our own talent. You know what I mean? And we ready to just show the world what we could do. So that's kind of like what the basis of that was for sure.
Yeah, man, that was great. Like, just I actually was listening to that project today when I went work out, and
Mm,
in fact both of your projects. But like I thought about some of the shit that I dropped on SoundCloud years ago, and that may be something I explore later down the line, but like just the quality of music that I was creating back then when I was doing a lot of the SoundCloud releases. That's something personally like that I wouldn't be comfortable with too much. But
I
like
get it.
yeah, I may that may be something I do just, because that could be another project. But I also do believe in quality versus quantity, so I'll be very
Mm.
picky about that type of thing. Now, you also released Rise of the Corleone. That came out what, in January or February?
Yeah, January. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell
Rise of
us a little bit
Corleone.
about that one as well, because the vibe I get, it's like you spit some real street shit here in 2024. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of what the game is missing. So, tell us a little bit about the concept for that album. And we're gonna get into the video after that too as well. But yeah.
Mm. Nah, man, Rise of Corleone is exactly what you said. Is what the game's missing. You know what I mean? Like lit street hip hop. You know what I mean? Updated street hip hop. And you got a lot of guys that are doing street hip hop, but it doesn't have that energy. It doesn't have that vibe. You don't feel like you coming into the streets or you in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And that's the energy that we're able to capture. Not only on Rise of Corleone, but all the rest of the projects we drop is a certain energy that we come with. But with Rise of Corleone, it's a masterpiece, man, from top to bottom. You know what I mean? You'll never will hear a sound like that on the streets right now. Like I tweeted earlier, I said from the underground to the mainstream, nobody has an album more versatile than Rise of Corleone right now on the streets. I truly believe that. You know what I mean? From street hip hop to, hip hop with bounces, different flows, different cadences, different sounds. It's a whole new wave of street hip hop. You know what I mean? And I take pride in that. And Rise Corleone came together again. My brother Azam produced it from top to bottom. You know what I mean? He did all of the hooks on air from top to bottom. And we just put together a brilliant piece of work. You know what I mean? And now it's finally starting to like gain that traction. You know how it is right now. The game is oversaturated. So you got to be able to push your shit, and push your shit and promote your shit to the masses and get as many people in on it. But it's gaining traction, man. Like the video's doing well, West Philly 187's doing well, like that video's doing well. So just that sound people are getting used to. You know what I mean? But it's the sound that's needed, man. And I feel by the end of the year, the game going to know us. Like the
Yeah.
mainstream going to know us. It's a whole nother sound. People are getting tired of the same old, man. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in the hip hop genre. So we coming to shake shit up and transform the game. And Rise of Corleone is just the start of that. That's why I decided to name it that, like the rise of this. You know what I mean? This is the start. You know what I mean? So it's about to get ugly, man. It's about to get real ugly for niggas.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned, you got to continuously push your music. You got to continuously push your music in
Yeah.
2024. What are you doing like locally as well as, possibly on the internet to continue to push your brand, push your music forward?
Oh man, is that what I'm doing right now? What me and you doing right now? I'm at interviews every week. You know what I mean? Interviews every week. Sending links out to like-minded individuals who actually fuck with hip hop, who actually fuck with bars and dope production. I'm networking consistently. You know what I mean? On a local level and on an international level as well. You know what I mean? I just finished a podcast up with a couple of guys from Germany, knocked that out, got a
Yeah,
couple other interviews that's going to be dropping from a couple of friends, dope radio stations over there. And then I recently did an Instagram live with one of the top radio station hosts from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. You know what I mean? We did a live talking about Rise of Corleone. He had his questions and everything, and it was a really dope conversation and dialogue. So I'm hustling. You know what I
yeah,
mean? We taking it back to that Master P out the trunk shit, but virtually. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Where it's like, yo, like every day we hitting people like, yo, this is a whole new sound, it's a whole new wave. You know what I mean? If you got a podcast, if you got radio, whatever the case may be, we're gonna constantly promote. We're gonna constantly attack. It's the same way with our music. And I feel if you want to get shit rocking right now, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to promote your brand consistently. And don't give a fuck if the person saw it 9 or 10 fucking times. Here's 10 more. You know what I'm saying? Because I
yeah.
got to get where I got to go with this thing. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's where we at with it consistently. Every day, interviews, podcasts, linking up with people, networking with folks, sending different things. You know what I mean? And it's a day-to-day process. But I can honestly say that since we've been doing it since the top of the year, incredible results, man. So we're going to stay consistent.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of being a music creator in 2024. One of the
Yeah.
reasons that I created this platform, originally it started for like music producers, but then I had a friend who was an artist who, I had on a podcast, and it's like from that point on, it just carried over. A lot of artists just started asking me to be on a podcast. And I think, it's one of the things that I respect what you just said about, continuously pushing your music by getting on podcasts, letting everybody know. And I think another element to that as a music creator, like a lot of the fans, a lot of the people that follow you, they want to hear your story. They want to hear, things about like how you created the album. In some
Mm-hmm.
cases, whatever type of maybe shows or any type of other opportunities in the music industry that you might have, people that follow you want to hear about it. And, you may even have others that discover your music through the podcast. So, I
Yeah.
respect when artists grind like that and take advantage of the platforms, because a lot of times, and, we have our moments where we may not get as many people on, maybe a week or two or whatever that looks like. But like a lot of artists just don't, they shy away from doing podcasts, and they don't really know how important that is to them as a creator.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. I mean, I always say this, me and my brother Zan always say this. I don't care if your podcast or radio station has 25 followers. Those are 25 new people that have been introduced to your music, or 25 million followers.
Yeah.
Those are still 25 million people that listen to your music, or like you said, listen to your story and have a background and an understanding of who you are as an artist and who you are as a person. Do I like you? Are you a charismatic person? Are you a person that can draw me in? You know what I'm saying? All of those different things have something to do with artist development. You know what I'm saying? Which is a lost art form. That's why you see so many artists not be able to get the opportunities that they should, because they're not media trained, because they're not used to doing a lot of public things or understanding how branding and advertising works. So you're marketing yourself consistently. This is what we're both doing. You're doing the same thing on your side as well, where you constantly have to promote. And if it's slow, I always say this: dominate your process. Your process is your process. Your road is your road. Dominate that every day. How do you do that? By putting the work in, by pushing it to the people. You may get 100 people one day. Like you said, a couple weeks may go past, you may not get nobody. Stay with it, because you never know, that one like, that one listen, that one opportunity can just spark shit for you. So it's important.
Yeah, and it's helped me, from a creative standpoint as well, because whether it's a producer, whether it's an artist, they are also friends with other producers and artists. So at
Mm-hmm.
that point, it might be one other person that I get, another interview with that's a friend of somebody that was on the show. And it's kind of something that continuously carried on and not only helped me build relationships for this podcast, but also create music as well. So it's helped me in a lot of ways, man. Definitely, definitely. West Philly 187. Really,
Yeah.
really dug the song, dug the video. The video to me just, kind of like I was saying earlier, looked like the music, looked like the streets. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, tell us a little bit about, the song, the concept for the song, and then about, your process creating the video.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like you said, West Philly 187 is a street record. And it is what the title is. You know what I mean? It's showing how crazy Philly is, and a part of Philly that we come from. You know what I'm saying? This is real life shit that's happening every day. You gotta have your eyes up and your mind focused. You know what I'm saying? When you're maneuvering through the streets and everything. And we were able to bring that to life visually. You know what I mean? Not only from the audio perspective, but from that visual perspective, with the clips and different things like that. Me and my brother beforehand did pre-production. You know what I'm saying? On the video, where it's like, okay, let's pick the locations, let's pick the scenes, let's look for these different clips and things that allow us to portray what we need to portray, what needs to be shown, rather. You know what I'm saying? And we linked up with Vegas Films from New York. He's done a lot of great, great work with a lot of incredible people, artists, and companies. Came down to Philly, shot that video for us, and was walking around the hood. You know what I mean? We was around our hood. You know what I mean? Keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? And we were able to put that out there to the world and actually show people what West Philly really looked like. I don't think a lot of people understand how wild that part of the city or this part of the city is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody kind of gets caught up with, the song you hear with Will Smith raps it, it's cool. You don't really, you know what I mean? You don't really think that too much is going on. Nah, it's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like we did an incredible job with capturing the neighborhood, capturing the sound, and bringing a new wave of hip hop to the streets, man, where it's an intensity, it's a certain aggression. You know what I mean? Shit ain't sweet, and we want to kind of show that on record consistently. Bring that energy back. You know what I mean? Like the older cats I felt did that. You know what I'm saying? Where you could listen to a Wu-Tang or a Mobb Deep album or whatever, and you felt like you was in a, New York corner store coming out type shit. You know what I mean? Because it was authentic. It was an authentic thing that they was doing. So I felt like we did a pretty good job of bringing that to life.
Yeah. Yeah, I checked it out on Apple Music. So, is it also like on YouTube as well?
Oh yeah, all streaming platforms. All
Okay.
streaming platforms. All of our projects, from Rise of Corleone to the Murder Files, which is the Dead Wrong compilation with a couple of our artists on there. The Beginnings, all of that's on all streaming platforms. You know what I mean? Anything you can put earphones to is there. All
Yeah.
DSPs for sure.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of plans do you have for the remainder of 2024? I know the year's still young, and I know
Mm,
you had your release today and you still, pushing the Rise of Corleone as well. So, what you got
mm.
in the works for the remainder of 2024?
Oh man, more music, more content, more dope ideas. Flood them. We're not stopping. You have to stay consistent. So we're going to stay as consistent as possible. This is something that people are going to have to get used to. that we are running shit over. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's a flood, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a flood of good music. Like you said earlier, we're making the combination of quality and quantity. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if Master P had some of the best artists in the world when he was dropping 20, 25 fucking albums
Yeah.
in a year. You know what I'm
That was
saying? Like
every week.
imagine that for a second every week. You know what I'm saying? But really having quality work, like consistent quality work over and over again. And I feel like in today's day and time, that's how you're going to generate fans. That's how you're going to really bring a lot of people in. So this year it's a takeover, dead wrong takeover. This is the start of it. You know what I mean? I'm just gaining momentum. Azan is gaining momentum. All of the different people that we're associating with, we're gaining momentum. And I'm loving the response of all these projects. Anybody that's listened to it automatically became fans. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And really are looking forward to the next thing. So, yeah, for the rest of the year, pressure. We're applying pressure, foot on their necks.
Yeah, that's the way that I felt when I heard your music. It brought me back, kind of like I was saying earlier, to that point in time when I was, that was kind of my college years when I used to ride. Listen to a lot of Nas, listen to a lot of Jay around that time.
Yeah.
Shit. I was on that state property too around
Yeah.
that time. Yeah. Yeah, I was on all that shit around that time. And that's the type of vibe I get from listening to a lot of your music, man. So keep up
Yeah.
the great work with that. Yeah.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, man. You know, we restoring the feeling, but in a new way. You know, I look at it like this, and I always say it is something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, man. You know what I mean? You get a little taste of this, you get a little taste of that, but the foundation is there.
Yeah, yeah. What's the music scene like in Philly right now in terms of like performances or anything that has to do with music in Philly?
I think the scene is in a solid place, but it could be in a better place because you have a lot of talented artists here in the city, but you also have a lot of guys that's just rapping a rap, kind of like in any city right now.
Yeah.
You know, again, music has become oversaturated. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like, damn, like, grandma got a mixtape out.
Yeah.
Granddad just shot 5 visuals. He got a publicist. Like it's like, damn, like everybody's doing it. So, it kind of gets crazy in a way where a lot of the talented people can't really get the odds on them that they should. You know what I'm saying? So the scene could be in a better place. I feel like you got a lot of talented spitters that's coming up, a lot of talented R&B artists that's coming up and shit from the city. But, we look at it from the perspective that we are the scene in the city, that we are the new culture in the city, where it's like this is the kind of music that represents the city here in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? Where it's raw street raps, but it's lit. You know what I mean? And the ladies can get with it. You know what I mean? Like it ain't no shit where, we see it on Twitter, all this shit like the scare the hoes music. We ain't scaring no hoe, man. You know what I'm saying? They gonna come on through and they gonna enjoy it with the rest of the niggas up in here. We gonna get to it.
Yeah. I feel that way. Like every city should have an identity in terms of music. Now, definitely ain't gotta, of course, put out no whack shit, but every city,
Nah.
should have a sound. Every city should definitely have a
Yeah.
sound. Yeah.
Represent your region, man. That's what makes hip hop dope. That's what makes hip hop special in the first place. You know what I mean? 8 Ball and MJG sounded like Memphis.
Yeah.
Scarface sounded like Houston. UGK sounded like Houston. You know what I mean? But Rakim sounded like New York. Snoop sounded like Cali. Like it needs to come back to that place where you have pride in your region and also have pride in your sound.
Yeah. Yeah. Where can our listeners follow you at?
Oh man, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, man. King Shampz, KINGSHAMPZ. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Yo, holla at me on there, man. I'm always responding to DMs. I'm always talking back and forth with fans and supporters. And that's where you can get all the updates on the latest music. I'm posting on there consistently. So if you see me on there, know I'm flooding your timeline. Know that it's a bunch of shit that's coming out. It's a bunch of events, bunch of things that we got in store for y'all, man. So yeah, follow me on there, Instagram and Twitter, King Shampz, KINGSHAMPZ. Follow your boy.
Go ahead, hit King Shampz with a follow. Check him out on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to music at. Uh,
Wherever.
Definitely recommend it. Just give it some of your time and you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it especially if you like that old school hip hop, kind of give me them vibes once again. You can follow me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok. Also, if you use Threads on Twitter, a little bit different on X, whatever you want to call it, but it's d.mme. Hit me with a follow. And for any artists, any producers out there, you're looking to get on a podcast, shoot me a message on one of those platforms, and we're gonna go ahead and make it happen. You can listen to the Major Music Lounge on all streaming platforms, as well as watch new episodes here on YouTube. This has been another episode, and we're out.
Major Music.